love for each other. The mansion is located in the town of Redlands, known for over a century as a picturesque mecca for sun lovers.
The town was incorporated in 1891, and it was touted throughout the East Coast as the place to go for your health. So we had many people of the more elite crowd that were coming west for their health, trying to get away from the very bad and drastic winters of the East Coast.
Although the former shipbuilder loved the sea, David Morey moved inland with his wife Sarah in 1882, hoping the warm, dry climate would improve her health. The ambitious Sarah saw gold growing in the trees, recognizing that California oranges could make her a fortune.
Sarah came to Redlands and wanted to grow oranges. She started the first tree seedling nursery here for oranges exclusively. In 4 years, she raised, grew, and sold over 90,000 seedlings. We have mature trees in this valley today that came from Sarah's seedlings.
The Moreys sold their business for a hefty profit and used the money to design and build the home of their dreams.
David Morey incorporated pieces of this house out of his own memory and imagination. From his travels as a shipbuilder, he picked up pieces of architecture from all over the world. So we have the Russian dome, we have a French mansard roof, a British widow's walk. It's all topped with a Greek crow's walk.
Although located in the Wild West, the Moreys' home boasts an elegant interior reminiscent of a stately Eastern mansion.
There are 4 fireplaces in the house. Each one has a different colored tile, and each one depicts a different scene. Sarah's chamber is a 2-room suite that encompasses the entire front of the house. Its bedroom area is under the French mansard roof. The sitting room, that's underneath the big Russian dome, and it's all in rose velvet.
Sarah's health ultimately failed her in 1901. After her death, David Morey never again set foot in the house. He returned to the coast in San Diego, hoping to find a worthy new owner for his labor of love. In 1902, Morey Mansion was sold to business tycoon William Cheney.
Well, they signed the papers on this house on a table in the dining room of the Del Coronado in June of 1902. After those papers were signed, David Morey went up to his room and put a gun to his head. It seems as he left the last message for his family, all it said was, "I don't want to live without my Sarah." So he had found someone to take care of and love the house, and he was ready to let go.
The Cheneys were the aunt and uncle of movie actress Carole Lombard. To avoid the hounding Hollywood press, Lombard married actor Clark Gable at the mansion and spent the first night of their honeymoon there. Now the beautiful setting for many weddings and romantic honeymoon evenings, Morey Mansion also serves as the peaceful sanctuary for a number of earthbound spirits who reveal themselves in a variety of ways.
The first night I ever stayed here, I stayed in the tower room, and I was laying on the bed, and I heard footsteps running upstairs in the attic. They'd run down, and then a little while later, they'd run back. And it happened throughout the whole night. I didn't get much sleep.
Seances held in the Morey Mansion have served to reveal the identity of several ghostly residents, including the spirit of Sarah Morey. Another ghost, identified only as Sam, inhabits the upstairs hallways and often fools visitors who mistake him for just another overnight guest.
But many people have said that they've seen a man upstairs when there was no one there. And like other innkeepers before me, we always ask, what did he look like? Because no one's ever seen his face. And invariably, we get the same description. And it's the same description that I've seen myself a couple of times. We have a tall, thin, elderly man with white hair, brown pants, and a brown and cream, like a herringbone tweed jacket, typical of the turn of the century. And you always see his back in the back hall where the servants were, as if he's trying to get out of the way.
The ghost of a little girl in turn-of-the-century clothing has also been seen in the house. It is not certain who she is, but her activities seem centered on the dollhouse that she played with in life. Now serving as a bed and breakfast, the Morey House enables anyone to spend the night in a truly haunted mansion. However scary that may seem, the innkeeper assures her guests that they have nothing to fear.
The ghosts that we have at the Morey Mansion are warm spirits of people who have loved this house and quite apparently want to stay here. And I've often told house guests, 100 years from now, you'll find me in the tower room. That's my favorite room in the house, and I'm not leaving either.
The steamy banks of the Mississippi River in Louisiana's Bayou country, distant echoes of the Old South endure at the Oak Alley Plantation. Eager to escape the sweltering summers in the Crescent City, wealthy New Orleans families laid claim to the land along the river, both to grow cash crops and to erect opulent antebellum mansions. The Ramonds, a well-heeled Creole family from the French Quarter, saw the Oak Alley property as the perfect place for their summer palace.
It was built in 1837 by Jacques Ramond. He was a sugarcane planter from New Orleans, and he wanted to build a summer home for his wife and his 4 children. He was going along the river, and he saw the Alley of Oaks, which were 150 years old at that time. He fell in love with that alley, so he built a summer home at the end of it.
Over 100 slaves toiled in the fields of Oak Alley as the Ramonds endeavored to just relax and stay cool.
The room that we're in now was the parlor with the Ramond family. It was popular to have a parlor on the second floor because you get the breezes from the river better. You can watch the river or the boats go by.
Although Oak Alley Plantation was just a summer home, it was designed to reflect the beauty and elegance of the family's home in the French Quarter.
It's really in very wonderful scale in proportion to the setting of this alley. The home is almost a perfect cube, so when you look at it from any angle, when you go around it 360 degrees, it's pleasing to the eye.
During the Civil War, Oak Alley was used as a field hospital, adding to the many deaths that have occurred in the house. The passing of Josephine Stewart, the mansion's last full-time resident, is still memorialized.
In fact, all of the clocks in the home are set at 7:30. She died at 7:30 in the morning. In the South, one of the traditions that they would have is when a member of the family died, they would leave the clock set at the time that that person died for a year. And we've just left it like that.
A Civil War soldier attempting to court a beautiful Southern belle who lived at Oak Alley was thrown from the second floor by the girl's father and brother and then dragged through the oaks and drowned in the Mississippi. On dark nights, his spirit is often seen trying to return to the home of his beloved.
There are a lot of people who are very afraid of coming on this property after hours because they feel that there are spirits all over.
Oak Alley attracts thousands of visitors, many of whom have witnessed the plantation's southern specters.
We have lots of people that come to visit us on the riverboats, and they walk through the alley of trees to the front door. Well, they'll look up on the Widow's Walk, and they always see a lady in black there, always. And they'll come and say, well, who's the lady up on the Widow's Walk? And we say, there's no one there. There's no one. And they say, of course, we see her.
The identity of the lady in black is not known. Maybe she is the ghost of Louise Ramond, the original mistress of the house. Or she could be the daughter whose unlucky suitor still haunts the plantation grounds. One detail is clear. The lady in black is not shy.
Well, 3 years ago, I was alone in the house. I was tired, so I decided I'd go into the living room, sit at the piano bench. The house was locked. I was by myself. Well, here walks this lady, all in black, and she stopped at the doorway, and she looked straight at me. I looked at her, and I thought, well, what is this lady doing in the house? So I got up to speak to her, and she disappeared. She just vanished. It was just the most amazing thing. I mean, we actually looked at each other, and she just was gone. I just couldn't believe it.
Because of the number of visitors who come to tour the mansion, Oak Alley's apparitions are sometimes captured on film.
In this room is a mannequin with a dress on it, which belonged to Mrs. Stewart's grandmother. And it was facing the oval mirror. It doesn't have a head on it, and it's never had a head on it. We had a couple from Texas that took photographs of the house, like lots of people do. But when the photograph was developed, in the photograph was the mannequin, but it had a head on it with long hair.
It appears to be looking out the window, and it looks like a young girl with long brown hair. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, there was no person in here because we have the ropes and nobody's allowed in.
Those among the living often wonder why the spirits of the dead haunt a particular location. To those who love Oak Alley, the ghostly apparitions present no mystery.
I believe the ghost in this house is the spirit that never wanted to leave. The house has a lot of love in it. I think all the families that lived here really loved this old house and loved the plantation and never really wanted to leave.